welcome to Warhammer Workshop. My name is Amy, and I am joined, as always, by the one and only JF. JF, hello.
Hello, and welcome also to arguably the best Warhammer podcast in the
Sure.
world. I mean, as long as I say arguably before, no one can say that I'm making this an absolute.
No.
Fun things to talk about this week.
There are fun things to talk about this week. Per usual, we've got a whole bunch of pre-orders on the way. And that includes this week, it's pretty Sigmar heavy. We've got that Slaves to Darkness box that we saw previewed back
Like a while back, right?
Was it Warhammer Fest though? Or was it
I don't know. It was long enough ago that I forgot it contained the Demon Prince.
Was it Warhammer Day? Maybe it was Warhammer
think it
Fest.
was.
I think it was.
It was.
I remember the Beast Men dudes that their name has just run right out of my head. I did forget it came with a Demon Prince, but he's game agnostic.
That's the thing. I mean, here's my question about that. So it's a neat box. It doesn't have a ton of figs, which I'm always down when they don't have too many figs, because usually it means it's a good starter box for like friends and things. But do we have that Demon Prince in any other form right now?
Oh, geez. I'm not sure. I haven't gone to look because I haven't needed a Demon Prince.
Because if this Demon Prince is only available right now in a starter set that is specifically Age of Sigmar, I don't know. Like, I love Games Workshop and everything, but that's a little bit of a kick in nerds. You're a 40K player and you really want to do Demon Prince, and now it's only available like in a $200 box for the other game.
I'm not seeing him immediately on the website.
I know. I'm pretty sure we would have seen him announced somewhere, and I don't think we did. So it's a weird place to be. I'm sure he's going to come out as his own kit soon enough, especially if people start crying and whining on the internet as they do. But in this rare case, I think it's going to be a little bit more justified.
Well, I did not even notice that. Good catch there. They're ogroids,
eagle-eyed,
which is why I never remember what they're called.
Yes,
ogroid theridons. So yeah, that's a fun box. We're also getting the Ogor Maw tribes.
Which stupid Ogors.
They're real good looking.
I mean, they have my physique, so I can't disagree. That being said, it is a cool box.
Yeah, this dude on the not bike that is being pulled by like some sort of boar is real good. He's phenomenal. They're all phenomenal.
They're all pretty phenomenal.
Plus, it's a little buddy army. So.
It is, although I don't like. I'm very curious. I might actually get my hands on that battle tome.
Yep.
But the Ogors or ogres back in the day used to be one of the armies I wanted to do for ye old Warhammer Fantasy.
Sure.
So I am very curious to see how the not goblins of the ogre Maw tribes, how are they featured? Because they used to be like a troop choice or the equivalent, like a basic infantry choice, and you could make like these huge units of these. Back then, it was clear that Games Workshop said, you know what, goblins are really stupid, but can we make something lower on the food chain? And that's what they went for.
Sure.
And it's so great because you have like those two that were like riding piggyback on each other. It's absolutely great. Looking forward to that. And they're also coming out with the Blood Pelt Hunter, which I'm unsure about because he doesn't look ogre enough.
You think?
He looks too clean. Looks like he bathes.
This has been a complaint of mine about their painting for a little bit now. Like how the Nurgle dudes always look too healthy. Reichland Flesh Shade should never enter the chat when you're doing Nurgle flesh. You're like, look how pink he is. He just happens to have a tentacle. No.
No, I completely agree. There's also something about his proportions. He looks like he has very long legs. Like, look at the gams on him. Like, these are not ogre legs if you compare it to other ogres. Like,
one-legged boy.
Yeah, he's a leggy boy. Well, I guess it's a hunter. I guess he runs a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get their cards and all that too, and some dice and all that things. But we also get some other Vanguard boxes, at least
Yeah.
one, which is the Sylvanas.
Yeah.
Last week we talked a little bit about the painting method that's being named slap chop by these internets in the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that if there is one army I can make sing with that particular
Yeah.
technique, it would be the Sylvanas. So
Yeah. That was one of the first models that I used to test contrast paints when they came out. Was one of the Sylvaneth archers, and yeah, Wildwood. It forever cemented in my heart as like top tier contrast paint.
it's a good army to test contrast paint
Yeah.
on because of all the texture they have. I mean,
Yep.
their bark.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a bunch of things for Horse Heresy.
Yep. Liber Imperium. Finally, after the delay. There was a delay. There was a shipping delay. And so now it is finally here. As well as all those assassins that I have been drooling over for weeks now. There's a lot of them. If I have to pick one, it's the Clade Vanis Infocyte assassin.
Yeah, I had a feeling that would be the one. That's
Yeah.
probably the one I would like the most too. Like, 'cause it's just got a very cool position. It's got 3 servo skulls.
Mhm.
It's perfect. It's really good. I'm not planning on running any assassins. I redid my Horse Heresy list this weekend
Yeah.
and found that I have no room for anything.
Well, that's fun.
I barely have any models to buy because I kept accumulating garbage from Forge World for years, thinking one day I'll paint this. But now
Mhm.
I have a game to paint them for. So, yeah.
Yeah. Plus, assassins are loyalist side only anyway. So we are SOL
Not.
on that front.
Yeah.
But I'm getting my upgrade kits. Hey. So that'll be good.
Yeah, and they look cool.
Yeah.
And I've pre-ordered my upgrade kits.
Excellent.
I don't know if I hope I ordered enough.
Yeah.
I ordered 2 of each, and I'm gonna be playing around with that.
Awesome. We also have those Necromunda Prometheum tanks that we talked about, and remember when there had been some questioning as to, oh, can you put them on the thing? Does it come on the thing? What are we doing? Oh, it turns out it's 2 kits. You have the choice of a set of tanks.
And that's a mere culpa on my part. Like I was vehemently convinced. I was completely sure that it was just a kit for the tank, and the photo that we had in the preview was just to show us, yeah, you can take that kit and put it on the trailer. But no, it's you can get the trailer with the tank separately too.
Yep.
Which I guess is just a box where they toss in the extra sprue.
Sure. And I mean it's you get 2 sets if you get the Prometheum tanks refueling station. Versus 1 set for the trailer,
And then, as I like to call it, the full distillery.
Yeah, and then the Goliath Ash Wastes upgrade kit, which I've always liked the Necromunda upgrade kits. They always add like a lot of flavor, but the Ash Waste ones have been particularly good.
They have the Escher specifically have. They've punched a hole right through my heart.
Right now, I'm doing the thing that we do when we talk about how it's okay if your codex is late in the cycle because it means it's going to be good. Because I'm waiting for the Delac stuff to come out, and I am prepared. I'm prepared for it to be great. The Munster's vehicle.
Yes. Well, I'm hoping they're not too, and they probably won't be too kitschy because it's no longer what Games Workshop does. Or rather, Games Workshop has specific armies that they like to do kitschy things for. In the case of Delac, I'm hoping that we get something. How can I put it? Medical.
Yeah. Well, so because they're bike sized. Right? These are not big vehicles there are big vehicles, but for the most part, like your infantry ones they're all bike sized. So that is interesting because the Delac generally don't look like dudes that would get on a bike.
No, which like they could go and do some really boring things like just have them on hover platforms.
Yeah, I don't think
like it could be terrible. But it could also be really weird and creepy.
I think it's a good place for innovation. I was looking through the Votan Codex again and saw the little robots carrying weapons in cargo containers, and I was like, oh, heck, how about those but with some sort of biological entity inside them? That would be creepy and cool.
I've been looking at maybe getting rid of my ad mech just so I
Mm-hmm.
can start them over as a biologist force. Just convert a bunch of things, have specimens,
That'd be so
go real creepy medical with it.
good. Love it.
Yeah, I love it too, but also I don't have the money for it.
Yeah. Yeah. You can put it on the list though. It's the good dream.
Yeah, well, I'll just
For
add
the
it to.
inevitable like win your wish list contest that they run every year. Yes, this is my army and I would like it, please and thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So yeah, the other notable thing, in addition to all of the Black Library offerings, is that the Sisters of Battle comic book that came out beginning of the year, end of last year, maybe even actually, is coming out in trade paperback. So that's fun. I have those. I went to my local comic book store every month to pick it up. I have several of the alternate art covers. And
Ooh,
now,
fancy.
yeah. I basically just picked whichever version I like the art of better, and that was how that rolled. But now they're out in trade paperback.
So I was looking at the chem dealer for Necromunda, and in the article that they previewed it, they also preview, and that's not for pre-order yet, I believe,
No.
but the brute handler for the Goliath, I assume. It's got a green beard.
I think they're actually just bounty hunters, though. I think anyone
Could
can
be.
use them. He's just.
The only reason I'm bringing him up. Yeah, the only no, he's not just alternate hell.
Oh no, because that's Gorshiv Hammerfist with the green beard.
Yeah. Anyways, but the point is, the only reason I'm bringing him up, he's not up for pre-order or anything that I can see yet, is he seems to have a Screamer of Zench skeleton on his back.
Huh.
That is awesome.
Huh.
Weird skeletons, like it. Maybe it's not, but it really looks like it
really
is.
Does. No, so that's one of the right. Like I love at Halloween. Like we just finished it up, but I love at Halloween the weird skeletons that should not be. Big fan. Big fan.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, I absolutely. I want to get this fig just so I can get that skeleton and use it for my beast snagga somewhere.
Because I would have thought that Screamers would have had, cartilage mostly, if you were going to be reasonable about it.
There's clearly pieces that are cartilage, but I would think that if you kill a demon, it doesn't die; it just gets pulled back into the warp, like into the Imperium. But no, not this poor guy. So it's just I love when they do that kind of thing, when they call back to other pieces of setting in weird and unusual ways.
Yeah, I like that they refer to Hammerfist as a vat-grown simpleton.
Same.
He would be really upset if he could understand those words.
He would be, yes, he'd be, if he could read.
Yeah, so there's that guy. And then as we said, there's the brute handler and chem dealer. The chem dealer is phenomenal.
Yes.
With his little, he's got his little gas mask. He's like, yeah, you want to hit? Let's go.
Necromunda is one of those worlds that it's a good thing I didn't start with Necromunda as it is today, because I don't think I would have branched out to other games as much. It's such a well enclosed environment that doesn't push you out, but there's enough in there to keep you occupied for a while. I'd probably be able to buy a house though. So you know. Give and take.
So we also we've gotten more, as is to be expected, more information about Astra Militarum, including I love a good controversial model, and this one was a doozy. If we thought that the cavalry stirred up some stuff, this one is a heck of a model. It is Lord Commander Solar Arcadian Leontis.
Yeah, he's that guy.
He's the guy. He's the guy, and he's on a horse. His horse's name is Constantin, and he is old, and he is mostly mechanical at this point, but not entirely. Love it.
Best description, because a lot of people are very obsessed, like, oh, why a horse? And like,
because you can.
why a horse? Why space orcs that are also mushrooms? And at
Yeah.
some point, you need to sort of accept that the aesthetic of the Imperial Guard is sort of a middle ground between, like, it's a sci-fi version of the British Army between World War One and World War Two. That's what they're going for. And that's
Yeah.
what they're embracing, and that's what they've been embracing forever.
Yeah. And
And that's the aesthetic you need to be on board with if you're going to play Imperial Guard.
or if you're not on board with that, like I'd seen in one of the conversion groups that I'm in, where he converted a bunch of bikes to be his cavalry, which is
Which
fine.
is fine.
Bike models exist. Those are
Yes.
there. So we need them to put out horses. Like this
Well,
guy.
you need them to put out sci-fi horses.
Yes, sci-fi horses like this robo
And-
dude.
And one of the best descriptions for Constantine horse
Yeah.
that I've heard is it's a horse servitor.
Yeah.
And when you see it that way, somehow, even though it's the same model, it's still just a cyborg horse. But the idea that, of course, they would make servitors out of some of their animals too,
Yeah.
and that works to me.
It's really creepy if you look at like I can't wait to actually see this model in 3D, but you can see in
Oh,
the
yeah.
painted version, if you look underneath, you can see like where its fleshy leg on the inside ends, and you're like, "Oh, buddy. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah,
sorry.
no.
Oh, geez."
It's because
Oh,
traditionally, like you keep like the trope is, oh man, the horse broke his leg, take it out behind the barn, shoot
Yeah.
it and stuff. Like you've got like these cliches, and you know that for this horse, like, oh, he sprained an ankle, take the ankle off, make it a robot ankle.
take him to the tech priest.
Yeah, and that poor animal has been going through this for decades,
Oh,
probably far longer than the natural lifespan of a horse.
yeah.
It's part of like this the casual cruelty of the Imperium that's kind of on display there. Like, they make that kind of cruelty look magnificent on the battlefield, and that is
Yeah,
just
and
that
it's also
riding
like
the line.
it's he cares enough about his horse to want him around and want him with him, but not enough that he's not going to make him suffer for it.
Well, I mean, maybe he doesn't suffer. Like,
They do
for
have
all
good
we know, that
drugs.
horse has been pumped full of drugs for like
Yeah.
20 years and hasn't had like a genuine like nerve response since then.
Fair.
But it's just, it's the great thing, like when you're talking about like the grim dark of 40K, is the idea that they will dress up the grimmest, weirdest, most techno dystopic thing in just this wonderful, glorious apparel.
Yeah.
And that is such a good example of that. I love it.
The base is really cool too. It's the remains of something, some
Yeah,
sort of
some
demon
Titan.
engine, I think.
And some people have speculated, well, if they did the base, that means they have the 3D model, in which means that, of course, that model is coming out 40K. No, it's just
Calm down.
whatever. I mean, I often favor for big plastic models,
Yeah.
but a base is not a guarantee that they're actually doing a full kit. Like, there's more. There's more to putting out a kit than just sculpting in 3D.
Yeah. So that's amazing, and he features on the cover of the special edition codex that comes in the army box, looking
Yeah.
majestic.
And the conversion possibilities, like just today I was browsing Twitter and I noticed like someone converted him, like in Photoshop,
Digitally,
of course, digitally converted him to basically replace an Attilan Jackal, like a Jackal Alphas.
Ooh.
Which is the biker HQ for Gene Stealer Call.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, cool, of course, I'm down. I might do that. Like these are good ideas. Like,
There are some people doing digital conversions on Twitter that are doing amazing stuff, and it's so nice to be
they're
able to.
doing the Emperor's work.
Yeah, because I like a lot of times I can think of stuff, but I can't necessarily visualize it, and it almost never occurs to me to like, just put them together on the computer and see how they look.
Yeah. No, I do that once in a while. I used to do it a lot more just to compare base sizes, especially when
Yeah.
they came out with new Creator Demons. Like, oh, how does this compare? Well,
Ooh.
let's check.
Yeah.
No, it's a cool fig. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of them in painting contests.
Yeah, it's a good
if-
painting contest fig.
Like, we're 2 weeks away from people on the internet calming the hell down about whether they like it or not,
Yeah.
and moving on to the next thing that YouTube tells them to hate. So, we'll get there. This will just be another cool model in a vast array of cool models that are
Yeah.
available.
So, last week when we talked about the announcement of the Rogaldorn tank, one of the things that you brought up was that you didn't know how this was going to fit in with the other tanks that are already in existence. And
Well, I was
lo and behold,
talking, yeah,
lo and
I was
behold, we
talking
have an
mostly
article
about
about it.
the battlefield rule for it, but
Right,
Game Workshop did give us also a scale for it, which is
right.
neat.
And the updated stats to the Lehman Ross and the Baneblade, which are kind of fun. 30
It's,
wounds on the old Baneblade.
I mean, it's a super heavy. I kind of expect it.
Yeah.
And it's a super heavy that's not great in close combat. So you're
We
going to
also
have.
go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
No, we also have a new weapon type rule for turret weapons.
Yes.
Which is fun. This is a cool thing that they're doing, and I'm very into it in that they're not like it's not like this model has an exception to the rule. It's this weapon type can do different things. And that makes a lot of sense to me. You know what I mean? It's like
It's
not that like a tank
interesting.
can fire in close while it's in melee combat. It's that turret weapons can do that into it.
Yeah. Which also allows them to not have every weapon be able to do it.
Mhm.
Because usually turrets like that will not be good at like anti-infantry. Well, mind
Right.
you, a lot of them have the blast option, blast special rule, but usually they're big guns for big
Mortars, yeah.
targets. The only problem I have with that is, apart from the fact that you start getting a lot of rules that you need this codex to know what that rule is, although usually that rule only affects that codex, but you also wind up like, because the Imperial Guard are not the only army with tanks that have turrets. So are we expecting this rule to proliferate to other armies? Like, is my Hammerhead going to get the turret rule?
I don't think so, because generally speaking, those rules are like those weapons have their own special rules.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have other kinds. And so what this allows them to do also is that when it comes time for the balanced data slate, it allows you to be more granular. You don't have to worry
That's
about, about knocking down like, all right, so the Astra Militarum has come in hot. These turret weapons are too powerful. You can tone it without worrying about how that's going to like scale down through every other army.
Yeah, and you also don't have to worry. Like, you can, because right now, like there's some specific rules to how turret function,
Mm-hmm.
but you can add penalties or bonuses to adjust how that special rule works,
Right.
without even affecting the rest of the Imperial Guard army,
Mm-hmm.
or how other weapons function.
Right.
You don't need to necessarily lower the damage or the armor piercing if you want to remove from the efficiency of the weapon itself.
And I
get what you mean. It's just weird to look at other tanks with turrets and go, well, they don't have the turret weapons because they're not the Guard.
Yeah. No, I get that. But still, here we are. They could have called it anything.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. I'll live, I suppose.
Yeah, I love this picture that they've got with the lineup of the three of them with like one little guardsman running alongside. It's very.
She did that more. Like, this is something we talked about when the Leagues of Votan came out.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that they've got these new models with that benefit from a new scale, and they don't compare them to other models so that we can get an idea of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Like, I think Games Workshop gives us a little bit too much credit that we're going to look at the base and go, about that thick. Like, that's fine. We get it.
The like
But being able
super
to
big
see
stuff, they'll put like the silhouette of a space marine sometimes. But even that is not great.
No, because you want it to be compared to its peers. Like, what they did here is perfect. Like, you see that this is the tank that fills in the void quite literally between a Limanros and a Baneblade. That's exactly what we kind of expected it would be. Now we see it visually. Lots of guns on that thing, but whatever. So I just wish they had done the same thing for League of Votan. I wish they would do it for more things. Maybe that's what we're going to see moving forward too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure that we will be seeing the Astra Militarum soon. We've been getting a lot of previews.
Yeah,
So I'm sure that that is on its way.
That looks like a ramp up to me.
So Warhammer Plus gave us some goodies this week. We got.
Yeah, I mean, like the petty part of me wants to just say, haha, you unbelievers who think it's not a good deal. We got a bunch of Steam codes.
Yeah. So it's the DLC for Warhammer. There's so many different names, and I never remember what they are.
Oh, I remember it. I remember a time when you could not get a video game for Warhammer because they were not licensed.
And now
they're just everywhere.
Yeah,
there's just too many of them.
The thing that I always forget is when I go looking for them, I go looking for them by the game title, and I forget that in my Steam library, all the names start with Warhammer.
Yeah, so you get
Total War, the DLC, right?
You get a some DLC for Warhammer Total War. You get the Ogre Kingdom DLC.
Yeah.
And you also get a Steam key for Warhammer 40k Gladius, Relics of the War Steam key, which looks like Necrons, I suppose.
Yeah. No, I think it's a turn-based strategy game, so you're StarCrafty. StarCrafty.
Listen, I'll. Here's the thing. In a way, like, these are not free games. Obviously, these are they're download packs for existing games that you need to probably purchase. It's
Gladius
Steam,
is
so
a game. The Gladius one is a full game.
But even Relics of the War, that's not just an expansion.
That's
cool.
Think so. No, there are expansions for it.
Oh,
including the Adeptus Mechanicus, but that is a game.
Well, I'm embarrassed. I was gonna say like this. I was mounting a defense of them giving us free expansions as enticement to get the base game, but if one of them's a base game, I mean, my argument falls apart.
Yeah. And there is the complete bundle, that is on. It's a $40 game on the Steam Steam.
That pays for a whole lot of that subscription.
Yeah.
I mean, that and the model you get, that pays for your subscription.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
But
in addition to that, they've done the Angels of Death. I'm gonna call it the super cut. In which
I think it's what they call it too.
Is it? I think I forget what they called it, but they've put all the episodes together into one big long feature length.
Call it a final cut.
Final cut. Feature length seems disingenuous because there are a few movies that are this long. But
it's a long one.
164 minutes of high quality Blood Angel content, which I'm way more excited for than I ever would have expected.
It's because I've seen the actual series now. I've seen all these episodes, and they're all good.
Yeah.
Against all odds.
Being able to see it in one nice, smooth chunk.
Yeah, being able to just put it on the background while I paint now.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
Yeah.
I'm eager to see what's going to be their next thing. I mean, I know we're getting the prequel.
Yep.
But I'm curious to see, are they going to be doing similar things, but... say for an Eldar, like for other factions, because I will get sick of Space Marines.
Yeah.
Like, it's novelty that I'm enjoying this. I'm not expecting to enjoy it as much on if they keep going with it. But if they start bringing us, like, maybe I would like a dark and gritty orc story.
That would be
nice.
So good.
I mean, they're great as a laughing stock and as a punchline, but also they can be brutally, like, dark.
Yeah. I want them to go somewhere with the Exodite.
I'd be surprised if they don't.
Yeah.
It would be weird if they didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's everything that we have this week, right? Is there anything else that you were itching
Nothing
to
that
talk
came
about?
to mind. Like, I was very excited about the Steam keys, even though they're probably not games. Like, now that I know that Gladius is a full game, I'm definitely going to download it and give it a shot.
Yep.
I don't have as much time as I wish I did for these kind of games, but I mean, it's free. Why not? I'm
It's
probably
free,
going
why
to
not, is how my Steam library has gotten so out of control.
exactly. Well, one of the arguments I was going to give earlier is like, well, Steam always has these sales, so even
Oh,
if
yeah.
you don't have those games, just wait a bit.
Yep.
I
Black
might
Friday's
give
coming,
away.
baby.
I might give away my key for the DLC for
I'm
the
a
other
little
game.
bummed that
but-
there's Steam keys because when that came out, I did get it for free from, I want to say it's the Epic Store, but it might have been Xbox. I don't remember. I have so many gaming platforms and I can't manage them all, but I got the game for free, but not on Steam.
I think going with Steam is an ease of
Oh,
deployment
totally.
thing.
I just,
It's
the
easy
DLC
to
and the
do
base
that.
game are currently not on the same platform, so it doesn't help me out very much.
Yeah, that's
But that's fine. So, anyway, in the meantime, all of our contact information and social media handles are in the description. And until we see you next week, happy hobbying. Materials shown in this video are provided fully or in part by Games Workshop for promotional purposes. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping us a like and subscribing. Thanks for watching.